Hey, gun people. Well, I did a video not too. I don't remember what the video was or where I did it. Maybe somebody can remember. Put the link, or if I find it, I'll put the link in the description. Um, about the riots in St. Louis, about the cop that was let go for murder. When I told the story, the cop had ended up quitting the force. Nobody wanted to prosecute him. He moved to Texas, was doing fine, moved on with life. 5 years later, supposedly a black attorney general got in charge, and she decided to charge a guy. Another story was that the outgoing DA or prosecutor went ahead and charged before she went out, so she wouldn't have to take political fallout, and it wouldn't hurt the new person. I don't know how they end up charging the guy 5 years later after he quit the force and moved on. Whatever, it was hinky, it was BS, and the judge acquitted him. So that was the story that I told. This is the actual video, and it has some different angles. So let's discuss about whether or not the cop planted the gun, or because he used an AK. I think that's why they end up firing him, because he used an AK with a drum to kill the dude instead of his handgun, which the AK is a great round. I got no problem with that. Let's take a look at this video here. So we have two cops on this fine citizen about to go to doctor school, gonna, of course, he's a prior heroin dealer, been arrested for heroin, been in prison, been convicted, out for gun charges. Let's forget all that. Just remember, he's a black man, the officers are white. That's the only thing you're supposed to know. So we have this fine, outstanding black man about to enter doctor school, going to become a doctor, and the cops pick on him and end up killing him for no reason. It shows some different angles here. I'm just going to kind of concentrate on these two right here. This shows a different angle on how the cops go in here. Look, these cops have this car blocked in, obviously a traffic stop. They're outside the car. This dude's hitting the window, trying to bust the window to get in. And what does this guy do? Well, Rick, he had to get to doctor school because he didn't want to be late for class. So he trashes the police car, almost hits this cop, and then takes off in a pursuit. Is deadly force authorized right now? Hell, if they'd have probably shot him now, they'd probably been okay. The fact they didn't shoot him is why they were in trouble. So, right now, this officer could have claimed fear of my life. He tried to hit me with a car, shot through the windshield, and killed him. And they didn't. Well, you know what? That'll be used against him. So, guy speeds off. Right after him, they're trying to stop him. He doesn't stop, obviously. They jump in a car. One officer has to stop, pick up the other officer.
Get him!
Okay, in this video, they're saying that one of the cops said, "I'm gonna kill that motherfucker." Well, you know what? Shit happens. Cops say that in the heat of battle. If you ever listen to tapes from F-15 or any of our fighters in the Air Force, when they're in dogfights and somebody's trying to shoot them out of the sky and they're trying to shoot somebody, they're saying, "Fuck you, and I'm gonna fucking kill you too." Okay? That's what happens when somebody feels their life was just threatened and they're about to die. Now, people can get all offended and make this a white and black thing, but you know what? It's just the way it is. Okay? You can say, well, you're a professional and cops should take an oath, and you can come up with all these bullshit. You know what? When somebody tries to kill you or put your life in danger and you're scared and you think that you could have just died and you want to go home, but you want to catch the bad guy and you're trying to do a job and you got a gun and they got a gun and you got everybody looking at you. Look, you're going to say shit. That's why cops are against cameras and videos. It's not that they're out there doing illegal stuff. It's that it's being used against them for bullshit like, oh, you said he was an asshole and you can't say that. You said he was being a dick and you can't say that. So that's why cops don't like video. It's used against them for bullshit instead of to protect them and to protect the public. But I digress. Let's watch these cops chase this guy. So the officer does here a little understeer. Understeer is he tried to turn and he wanted the car to go left on the street, but because the road is wet and he was going too fast and his forward momentum was going straight, when he turned his wheels, the car continued to go straight. He didn't get any steering that he should have, and he went into a pole. And shit happens.
Back up! Go!
And 30 miles an hour hitting the pole is a pretty substantial bang. I mean, these guys should have claimed concussions. They didn't know what they were doing. Should have ate a Twinkie and hollered a Twinkie defense. They should have done something, but they didn't. They stayed on the bad guy. Yeah, so he said that. Okay, so here's my problem. They got to catch the guy. The guy's running. They're going 80 miles an hour to catch this guy. Is that too fast? Well, you got to go faster than the guy to catch him. So at what point do you stop chasing somebody when you're endangering everyone's life? I've always had a problem with this. Most cops will disagree. Older cops would agree. All younger cops hate it. They hate being restricted when they're chasing somebody. They just think, you know what, I got a car and I can haul it. And I was there. I mean, look, it's great going fast, turning on a siren, chasing somebody like a bat out of hell. But, man, you look back and you're like, holy shit, how many times could I have died and how many people could I have killed for bullshit? Really? We're going through an intersection with cars coming through at 70 miles an hour? Are you kidding me? That is extremely dangerous. It is unreasonable. But these cops aren't thinking. They're in fight or flight, and I'm not justifying what they're doing. I'm just telling you what's going through their mind. They're like, I got to catch this dude, man. If he gets away, he's going to kill somebody. He may have already killed somebody. There could be a dead body in front. I don't know. All I know is this dude did not want us taking him in custody. They said they observed him doing a drug deal. The way he's driving and acting, of course, the liberal media will be saying, look, he's just late for class, and he was going to doctor school. So had he been going 70 miles an hour a few seconds ago, this car would be impacted straight. So we have another intersection. We have cars going through. We call this a clue. If a car is going through, he probably has a green light, which means this guy has a red light. 50 miles an hour through a stop sign, red light. No problem.
Hit him right now.
Okay, so now the guy kind of swerves. He's probably going to run. He's trying to bail out here. It looks like he's heading to the right. He's going to crash, wipe out. Maybe he spun out because of the wet weather. Oh, yeah, I forgot. 70 miles an hour through an intersection with cars on wet pavement that you've already crashed once on. Rick, why are you picking on the cops? I'm not picking on the cops. I'm telling you the things that I find wrong, good and bad, on both sides. This guy obviously has no, going to doctor school, he's got to get there quick. So he's got a good excuse. The cops don't have a good excuse in my book. So they hit the red car and they hit this car. So now we've crashed the car 3 times to catch this guy. People are going to say, cops are going to say, it's the guy's fault. He ran. He was committing the unlawful act. He committed a felony. He tried to run the cop over. They got to catch him. They can't let him go. That'll be the cop stance. My stance is, how many people do you endanger, etc., before you chase a guy? I mean, believe me, I don't like letting people go, and I didn't let a lot of people go, but doesn't mean I was always right by chasing them. Okay, so they ram him. They're both rammed. I don't know if the car's disabled, if they have it stopped, if it can't go. Maybe it had a flat tire when he crammed it into the thing. You'll notice this camera here is the back seat, and this is where they're crying about the cop went in and got a gun and then put it in the car and set this guy up. I don't believe that, but okay. I will mute this as soon as he ends up shooting. He's going to shoot him here in a second. So they're trying to get out of the car. Their story, the cops, He's refusing to get out. He's refusing to show his hands. He's reaching another seat. He's reaching around a car as if he's looking for something. One of the officers even says in his reports that at one point before I shot, his demeanor changed as if he found what he was looking for and he was coming up. Now, you know, people are going to say that's a hunch. You can't shoot a guy for that. Look, this is a highly volatile, fast-moving, evolving situation with a lot of unknowns, with a suspect that's a known drug dealer that's got prior felonies for guns and drugs, that just ran from the cops, that they just observed selling dope. And if you listen to the left-wing media, 2 white cops went out and shot a black guy for no reason on his way to doctor school. My problem with this right here is they don't look like they're in fear. This guy is standing outside the window. The other guy's outside the window. Yeah, they have their gun out and they're pointing at him. If the guy's moving around, should they back away? Should they let him get out? Should they let him find a gun? Again, cops don't like to give up ground. Once you take ground, that ground has to be retaken, and that usually costs lives. So when you get ground from a tactics position, you don't want to give that up unless you absolutely have to and you're going to lose anyway. So that's why cops a lot of times don't disengage. To me, disengaging right here would have been okay, would have been the best move. I don't know. You let the guy get armed. You maybe let him put another magazine in. You maybe let him get 2 guns. You don't know. You know, maybe he's got a grenade underneath there. Then you let him find that, and he pulls the pin. He throws it at you. I just don't see the fear in this guy. This kind of bothers me a little bit, that he doesn't seem fearful. His actions are not consistent with a guy who's afraid he's about to be shot with a guy in a car reaching for a gun. I got a little problem with that. Doesn't change my overall view of this. Poor Anthony. Oh. Again, this guy shot with his AK 4 or 5 times. He hit him. You take 5 rounds from an AK, I got news from you. You're dead. You may take 5 rounds from a 5.56 and live. You take 5 rounds from an AK, you're dead. The poor black man that was on his way to doctor school in Dallas that shot and killed all the cops that nobody wants to talk about. All those cops that died, they took 1 hit from an AK. That AK is a 30 caliber round. That's a great round. That 30 caliber round is a nice big hole. That's why in World War II when they carried the M1 Garand, it was a 30 caliber. When you got hit with one of those rounds, it stopped you. This guy doesn't have his gun out. I got a problem with that. Why does the other guy shooting and this cop doesn't? Is it because this cop's incompetent? Is it because he doesn't care? Is it because he didn't see the threat that this guy saw? Again, what you can think and what you know and can prove is something different. Just because one cop sees a deadly force situation does not mean every cop will see the exact same thing. You can't even get witnesses to agree when there's 5 witnesses that observe a robbery right in front of them. You'll get 5 different statements. So eyewitness testimony, when somebody wants to, when they want to use it on their behalf, it's great and wonderful. But when you want to use it like for the cop's position, then it's all they're lying and they're trying to scam and do this. Okay, so let's mute all the sirens here. So they shot the guy. They said he had a gun. They said he was reaching for a gun. What people are saying now is he went in, this is his bag, and the officer runs back and gets something out of his bag. Now, I don't have the court transcripts. I don't know what his statement said on why he went back to the car. I'm sure it didn't say I went in to get a throwdown gun to throw in there. They found a bag of dope, and it had Lamar's DNA on it. The gun did not have his DNA. Is that if and buts and coconuts? I mean, it's suspicious. It's not proof, but it's suspicious. So this cop goes to the car, but this isn't the shooter. This is the shooter. Because he goes to the car and puts his AK pistol with his drum on the back seat. I carry that gun in my car. It's a great gun. So he lays the gun down. Did he grab a gun to plant? I didn't see it. If he was going to grab a gun, isn't it reasonable that he would do it now, right away, before other cops showed up, instead of waiting for later? Yeah, to me, that's reasonable. If he was going to do something, he would have done it then. They're saying he ran back in and got it later, but okay. So now he goes back to the car. There's other cops there. There's other cops showing up. Look, cops know if you're going to do something dirty, you don't want witnesses. The more people you have, the more likely, a secret's a secret as long as the one person knows it. If two people know it, it's no longer a secret. So now they're saying this is where he goes back into his duffel bag and gets the gun. Do I agree with that? No, I doubt if he would wait. He's walking back now that officers are here, and suddenly he's going to go in and dig for a gun to go stick in a guy's car. I don't buy that. Maybe the guy's dirty. I mean, maybe he did do it. I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't sound reasonable. What's he reaching for? What's he grabbing? My guess, maybe he's grabbing gloves. Maybe he's grabbing evidence. Maybe he's getting a bag for the heroin. Does he have a gun in his hand? Is he taking a gun out? I'm sure they looked at this over and over again to see what happened. But again, we have more cops showing up. Is it reasonable that he would have waited for all these cops to show up? Now, the people who are cop conspiracists and think all cops are dirty, oh yeah, because they're all dirty and they're all going to cover them. I'm telling you, ain't no cop planting no freaking evidence in front of me. They knew it. I knew it. It just didn't going to happen. And no, most of the cops I knew wouldn't let it happen. They just didn't want to get involved in that. They weren't going to risk their career, possible jail time, to cover some dumbass who wants to plant something. So it just didn't happen in front of me. People can say you're lying. I'm telling you, I've worked with thousands of officers from hundreds of agencies, and I'm telling you, it just didn't happen. And I was involved in a lot of high-risk, bad stuff, drugs, where it could have easily happened. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, I just didn't experience it, and I don't believe it. But anyway, that's the case. You can do it, judge for yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. I tell you the things that I see, and then, again, it's totality of circumstances. It's not what I know. It's not what I believe. It's not what I think. The officer's going to be judged in his mind. If another officer would have been in the same situation, would he have done the same action? And the only one that can say that is the officer that shot him can explain why he did what he did. And then other officers, hearing what he says, will say, yeah, if I knew everything that he knew, I'd probably do the same thing. I would be in fear. The guy's got prior gun conviction. We know he did a drug deal. We know he did drugs. He just tried to run us over. He tried to kill people on the streets. He's running, driving like a maniac. He's failure to comply. We stopped him. He wouldn't get out of the car. He wouldn't show his hands. He's reaching around a car. Is it reasonable that he might be reaching for a gun, he could kill you, and he's not complying? Yes. Should he get shot? Sure, I'm okay with that. I don't care if he's white or black. Of course, if he's white, then there's no racial issue, so we won't hear about it. We only hear about it when the left-wing line liberal media wants to push their race agenda, and make it all about the poor black man who has to make $1 million a year, and then he's kneeling at a freaking football game crying the country ain't fair to him, yet he can't get on a freaking plane and leave this country if it's so bad. Piece of shit NFL. I'm so fed. All right, we'll end that there.